Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are enjoying all the problems and videos that I am uploading. If you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Today's problem is valid parenthesis string. Given a string containing only three types of characters, left parenthesis, right parenthesis and a star. Write a function to check whether this string is valid. We define the validity of string by these rules. So we have like set of rules to check the validity of the string. Any left parenthesis must have a corresponding right parenthesis. Any right parenthesis must have corresponding left parenthesis. Left parenthesis must go before the corresponding right parenthesis. Star could be treated as a single right parenthesis or single left parenthesis or an empty string. An empty string is also valid. So there are 5 rules. So essentially the thing is there must be a corresponding left and right parenthesis. Okay, that is must, and left parenthesis must come before the right parenthesis, basically before the corresponding right parenthesis. So in some cases there can be a star. Star could denote 3 things, he said. It could be a left parenthesis or right parenthesis or even empty also. So that is a tricky one. So if it can represent left or right, that will be straightforward. But if it can represent empty, that is the trick part that we have to really try to break it down. So let's go ahead and look at the examples, right? So first example is left parent, right parent. So this is like a straightforward, this is a valid, right? So this one is a tricky one. So left, star and right, right? So left parenthesis, right star and right parenthesis. So here you do have a left parenthesis and a corresponding right parenthesis. So you should treat this star as an empty string in this case. If you treat empty as an empty string, then this is a good, valid parenthesis string. If you treat star as anything else other than empty, it would not be a valid one. But the answer that we are looking for here is it should return a true. That means in this case it should treat it as a empty string, right? So let's go ahead and look at the third example, right? So in this case, left parenthesis, star, right parenthesis and right parenthesis, right? In this case, the star should be treated as left parenthesis. So since star has 3 different things, it could be a left parenthesis or it could be right parenthesis or it could be empty string, right? So we need to devise an algorithm or a logic to treat them in 3 different ways. So like there is a brute force way, right? So you could treat each star with all these 3, right? Left parenthesis and then go ahead and do all the processing and treat it as right parenthesis and then go do the processing for the entire string, or treat it as an empty string and do the processing for the entire string. So basically if you have a string length n, right, so there will be so many combinations that are possible, right? So there could, out of n, if all of n characters are, let's say just for an example, right, all n characters are stars, then it will be a valid string obviously. But in order to verify that it is a valid string or not, right, you have to substitute with each of them with 3 different possibilities. That means you have a complexity of 3 power n, right? 3 power n, that is the worst case time complexity. So for a given string n, if you do with the brute force way, the worst case time complexity that you are going to get is 3 power n time complexity. Okay, but we are trying to do better than 3 power n here. Okay, so the logic that we are going to use is 2 pass logic. So in the pass 1 we will start from left to right, and in the pass 2 we will go from right to left. So as I indicated in the right side here in this text, so 2 pass solution from 0 to n minus 1, where 0 and n minus 1 is string length, right? So left to right. In the pass 2 we will go from n minus 1 to 0, like in the reverse order, right to left. Okay, so let's look at pass 1, right? So we count the number of left parentheses and the number of stars, right? So if we encounter a right parenthesis, right, then we have to make sure either count of left parenthesis is greater than 0 or count of star is greater than 0, right? At least one of them should be greater than 0. Otherwise, you encounter right parenthesis with before encountering the left parenthesis or star. That means you are given with an invalid string, right? So you count number of lefts and you count number of stars. But if you encounter a right before you encounter a left or a star, that means this should be greater than 0 or this should be greater than 0. For example, if both of them 0, that means you encountered the very first right parenthesis before encountering any left or stars, which means you could say the string actually started with a right parenthesis, right? That's one example. In that case, you will have to return false. So that's what it is. So you have to make sure any of them is true. Otherwise, return false, right? So for example, if any of them is true, right, you have to decrement whichever is true, whatever is true. If count of left parents is greater than 0, right, decrement the count of this one. Otherwise, if this is greater than 0, decrement this. So first you have to check this and then only check this, right? So first check this, that means left parenthesis. If left parenthesis matches that condition, right, if left parenthesis count is greater than 0, decrement that. Don't worry about stars. Stars can be used later, right, for anything, right? It could be right or left. But for each right parenthesis that you see, try to decrement left parenthesis. If it is not there, then only decrement the star, right? So that is the first pass. In the same way, in the second pass, just like we are counting in the first pass the left parenthesis, right, we count the number of right parenthesis here and star. So there is only one change here. We count right parenthesis and star. When we encounter a left parenthesis, we just do the reverse of the logic. So count of right parenthesis should be greater than 0 or star should be greater than 0. Otherwise, return false. Decrement whichever is true. So finally, these are the two paths, right? So if we go through these two passes without any problem, finally return true simply. That means it is a valid string, right? So that's what the logic is. So let's go ahead and look at the code. It's exactly following the same logic, right? Non-different. So we are saying n is the string length, and we have initialized left, right, and star to be initialized to 0, right? Left means left parenthesis count, right means right parenthesis count, star means stars count, right? So if s of I is left parenthesis, we increment the left. If it is star, we increment the star. Otherwise, that means there is only one possibility, right? That is right parenthesis. So now we have to check whether left is greater than 0. Sorry, left is less than 0 or equal to 0, right? If so, then only we go further. If it is left greater than 0, decrement left. That means we have found a corresponding left parenthesis anyway, right? We are good. But otherwise, that means if left is less than or equal to 0, then we have to check if star is greater than 0. If it is not, we just simply return false, because we have come into invalid string situation. Otherwise, we decrement the star, right? So that is what will take care of the pass 1, left to right, 0 to n, right? Or you can say n minus 1 here, because it is less than n, right? 0 to n minus 1. So that's the left to right, and then go ahead and look right to left. So before going to that, we are going to initialize right to 0 and star to 0 again, reinitialize. So similarly, what we are going to do here is, if we encounter a right parenthesis, increment the right. If we encounter a star, increment the star. If we encounter a, so this is not a left parenthesis, but is right parenthesis, okay. So if we encounter a left parenthesis, that means check whether right is greater than 0 or not. If it is right is greater than 0, decrement the right. Otherwise, check star. If star is also less than 0, then return false. Otherwise, decrement star. So finally, if it passes through all these two for loops, right, you would say it is true. So let's go ahead and look at the time complexity for this algorithm, right? So since we are going to do 2 pass in this algorithm, right? So the 2 pass are equal to the length n. Each pass will going through the length of n, right? So the time complexity for this algorithm will be order of 2n. Okay, but since it is a big O notation, order of 2n, we will say finally it will be order of n. So the time complexity for this algorithm is order of n. And let's go ahead and look at the space complexity. So here we are using three variables here, left, right and star, right? So apart from those three variables, we are not using any other extra storage. So for that sake, what we would say is the order of the time complexity, space complexity will be constant, because there are only three things that we are using, right? So time complexity is order of n, space complexity is order of 1, or in other words, constant. Hope that's a clear solution for you guys. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and also click the bell icon. That way you get all my future video uploads as notifications. Thank you for watching. I will be back with another video very soon. Till then, goodbye.